All right, so I was following the paper trail, and this is the B page of the album that we're doing for National Scrapbook Day 2019. Um, you should be coming here from the second video, which we did the page A. There was also, the first video was the binding page. All of these come together for to become the construction for the album, which is a free tutorial here on YouTube. The next class after this one, or the next video after this one, will be recorded from the live show on May 4th, National Scrapbook Day, or International Scrapbook Day, where we will be putting a matting and embellishments on to the pages. And then I will eventually have a final video giving a walkthrough of the completed project. Because there's also going to be a box that this album fits into as well, which will be done on another live show probably about a week after National Scrapbook Day. So this one will be being completed over the next couple weeks after National Scrapbook Day, but we'll go ahead and get this one all finished up, and I'll do a final walkthrough video as well. But what I want to show you right now is how to construct the B page, or the pages 2 and 4. This is a 5-page album. I already showed you how to do page A, which is pages 1, 3, and 5. So you made 3 of those. With this one, you're going to make 2 pages. This is for pages 2 and 4, so they alternate. So for this one, just like we did with page A, it's assembled the same way with the basis of the page. So you have an 8.5 by 11 sheet that is cut down to 8.5 by 10 1/4. It has a 1/2 inch tab or section that's going to be used for your sleeve to attach to your binding, a 1/4 inch gusset to allow for all the flips and folds and flapples and goodies all in the inside, and then an 1.5 inch flap over on one side. So you're going to score and fold 2 of those. You're also going to take 2 more 8.5 by 11 sheets that you're going to cut down to 10 1/4 in height, and you're going to score at excuse me, 4.5 inches. So you'll have a 4-inch section and a 4.5 inch section, and your score and fold those. You're going to make 2 of those, and then you're going to make, from a single 8.5 by 11 sheet that you're going to cut down again to 10 1/4, we're going to score and fold a 1/2 inch tab along one side of each of those, and those are going to form pockets on the inside, or you can leave them as flaps if you don't want to attach them down. And then lastly, you're going to cut 2 7 1/4 by 6 inch rectangles. You're going to cut 2 of those for each page, and you're going to cut a 3-inch by 7 1/4 rectangle that's going to form the pocket on the inside. This 3-inch by 7 1/4 rectangle, you're going to score a 1/2 inch tab and fold that. Now, this can be left as a rectangle. That's just a flap with a pocket on the back. Or if you already own or have purchased my Flutterby album, which was my very first tutorial ever, you'll have the templates in there from that to use to create this butterfly page. I'm not providing this template for free because it wouldn't be fair to the people who have already purchased this album either recently or in the past. So I don't want to provide it for free when I've charged people for it in the past. So you can get the template and use it from this album, which was the inspirational starting point for this album. If you choose not to do that, you can just leave this as a square flap. While I'm on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and talk you through how you construct it. So I've got my 3-inch section. I score that 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to put glue in a U shape around it and attach it to the back side of the 6-inch wide section, and that forms a pocket. It's that simple. I didn't recut another one to re-glue it. Now I'm making actually 6 of these, 2 each for the pages 2 and 4, and then one for the front cover and one for the back cover on the inside. Now, if you are doing the butterflies, you do want to make sure that you do mirror images of each other. So you would do 3 of these and 3 of these. You don't want to do all 6 of them the same, because otherwise you're going to have butterflies that fly upside down. So make sure you do a mirror image, and so do 3 sets that are mirror images for a total of 6. So I can set those off to the side. Now, just like we did with page A, we have this tab's going to come together at the bottom, and then this is going to bump out on each side to allow for all the goodies that go on the inside. We need 2 1.5 by just more than 3/8 but less than a 1/2 inch tabs. So we want them a little bit narrower than 1/2 inch. And then I'm just going to, without scoring, I'm just going to fold these in half. And these are what form the sleeve of the page to attach to our binding tabs. Peel the backing off of this one. I'm going to line these 1/2 inch, not quarter, 1/2 inch sections together that line up that corner. Center this on there with a fold along the edge and wrap it around. I'll do that at the other end as well. Super simple. But that gives us our sleeve to attach to our binding. So that forms that 1/2 inch sleeve. So there's our 1/2 inch sleeve, so we can attach it to our binding. So on page A, we attached a couple of envelopes to this narrow flap. On this one, we're going to attach these folded sheets. Now, one side is 4 inches, the other is, the back one is 4.5. I want the 4.5 one to slip down inside, line it up at the top and the bottom, snug it right up against that fold line, and now we are going to place some glue along. You can go in a U shape. I'm just going to go, because I'm going to put some tabs on the end, because visually I like how that looks. So I'm just going to run some glue alongside that fold. And then I'm just going to flip this up. To fix these ends, you can run the glue in a U shape if you want, but as I said, I'm going to be creating some decorative tabs to close that. So I'm going to just be gluing it along that bottom edge, so that then that's a pocket, this is a flap, and then this can open this way. Now, this can also be attached down so that you have a pocket here that has a flap to the pocket underneath. It's going to be entirely up to you how you want to manipulate it, whether you want to keep this kind of this accordion or you want it to be the pocket. I'm going to do the same thing on the back side. The wider section tucks down in, line everybody up at the top and the bottom. Make sure it's nice and snug up against that fold. Get this out of the way. Use one hand to hold it down. If you need to, you can use some little paper clips or something like that to hold it in place. If you can't, I know I'm not always terribly coordinated in terms of holding it. It's where it doesn't smooth around. And so then I can just flip this up to hold that in place. Give it a second for the glue to set. So then that gives us my flaps on the outside. So I'm ready to open it up to the inside. And just like we did on page A, I have my tall flap / pockets that are going on each side that will attach down. Let me put my score tape on them. And on this one, attach that down. And I'm going to fold the tab under and place it right next to the fold line without going over. As I said on the last video, I sound like a game show host. The contestant closest without going over. Peel off the paper backing. Place it next to that fold. And attach. So then when I'm embellishing my pages, this can get attached down or it can be left as a flap. And then on the inside of here, for my inside pages, I can take and put a pair of these guys together. And all I've done is I've gone ahead and glued this guy on there, and then I've trimmed this. So this is using the template, using some cardstock. I've attached this down, and then I've just trimmed to that shape about 1/8 of an inch away. So then I've got my half-inch, I don't know why I keep calling it quarter, this half-inch tab, and I'm just like I did on this page, I use these 1.5 by just under half-inch tabs to close that down, and so that forms the sleeve to attach as well, and those will go inside. This is why when we did the binding on pages 2 and 4, we had our tabs for binding in 2 inches so that this can slip over it. So my binding tabs are going to be at the top and the bottom and the center here. So rather than being only 1 inch in, which would hit us right where this guy needs to be, by coming in 2 inches, then this guy is right in the center and fits in perfectly. So that's page B. I do want to show you how I attach the pages onto these binding tabs. So this is the page A, which we just did. I don't have the envelopes on the back, but I can attach those on at a later time. And I'm going to attach my pocket for the center. So this is a page 1, so I can kind of fold these guys down and out of the way, because what's going to happen is we're going to slip this guy down over these. This is a little tricky, I know, seeing the black on the black with the black. So we're going to pop those over the top. Now, the way I found it easiest to do is to go ahead and get those slipped on without any glue on there so that you're not getting any mess. So then I'm going to, because they're long enough, I can slip this up and allow only about 1/2 inch to show. That means there's still 1 inch up inside there. So then I can take my glue and just do a little strip of the glue along there. This is just so we can get our placement without having glue going everywhere. So I just put a little dab of glue on each of the tabs. I already have it slid on there, so now I can just slide this down. Now I want to make sure I'm centered. The beauty of glue versus tape is it gives me a second or two to get that set into place. So I can kind of attach those tabs. Now I am up between a 1/16 and an 1/8 inch, just a nice little gap from the base of that tab to where I have attached it down. So you want that little bit of breathing room, but you don't want too much. So then I can flip it over to the other side, and I'm going to turn this over since I'm right-handed. So I can then lift this side up. So I've got my tabs attached to that back side of the sleeve. So now I can take my glue, if I have enough in there, and I can run some glue along. Make sure you're hitting on your tabs. But so you can see how I've got some glue down inside that, and now I can attach it down. Easy peasy, nice and smooth. After a bit of playing with, the first time I tried to glue, I had glue on both sides and slipping it down, up and down my tabs, and I had glue everywhere. And I said, well, this isn't going to work. So after a little bit of trial and error, I've determined that this was the way to go. Now, I want to make sure, okay, that I have, this is my page 1, so I want to make sure my pockets on these are at the top. Sometimes it's a good idea, maybe you take a little sticky note, and you have, before you attach it down, give yourself an arrow this ends up, so you're attaching this correctly. So then you're going to add the second page the same way. But before we move on to that second page, we have our tabs sticking out here on the inside so that we can then attach our inside page. And it can go over the tabs in the same fashion. And we're going to center that on there. We're going to back it out so we have that little bit of gap, about a 1/16 of an inch to an 1/8 of an inch. So, whoops. You can back this off. Maybe not quite as far because they're shorter now, but we can put that little bead of glue along there. But by having it already slipped over, it makes it a whole lot easier. Don't need a lot of glue, but just slip that down over. And push that one in a little bit. Beauty of using the glue is it gives you a second or two. Push that guy in there just a tap, dab. There we go. Let those guys set for a second. And then I can flip this over. I can turn my book upside down so that I can lift that up gently. And making sure that I'm still within that 1/2 inch section as I'm putting the glue. You just want to definitely make sure the main place you're getting some glue is on your tabs, your binding tabs, because the glue in between is just closing your pocket. The tabs are what's holding your page on. So you want to just give it a good little burnish. Flip it over, burnish on this side. Make sure everybody's stuck down. And that's how you attach the pages to your tabs. So then I can go on to the next one where I have these 3 tabs. I can take my page B, and it's going to also slip over those 3 tabs. And I tell you, it's so much easier doing this when they're dry. See, and then you got the one that says, nope, I don't want to be in there. So you stick them in there. Set it down so that you can get it centered on there. And then just back it off like 1/2 inch so you can put your glue on there. And then slide it down, flip it over, put the glue on this side, and attach it down. And you'll do that with all 5 pages. So let me show you how that looks on the original one. So I've covered these, then I've got a stripe paper on it, but here's that sleeve and the sleeve, and here's, page 1, here's page 2, the sleeve, and the sleeve, this is page 2, page 3. Now in the center here, This is where I've got then the butterfly, where I've got that flap tapped, and there's no tabs showing. So if you've cut them to that 1.5 inches, your tabs shouldn't show. If when you try it out, you slide this over, but before you glue it, you want to check. If your tabs are sticking out, you're going to want to trim them off a little bit, because maybe you cut them a little long at the beginning, but they shouldn't stick out. So make sure you test it first, flip it back, and make sure your tabs are not sticking so that you can trim those off. So here's page 3. Page 4 also has the butterfly in the middle, and then page 5, which has the flap tone, which I have to fix, because see, there should be just that half inch showing. And there we go. And that gives us our whole book. And it just lays open, lays nice and flat. Having this extra 1/4 inch joint in there helps because of the thickness of all this stuff in there, especially once we get papers and stuff in there. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be even thicker. So you want to have that breathing room. And it just gives you some flexibility too with these pages, having that joint there. And then page 2. So this book is ready for embellishing, and so are you. So we will see you either at the live class or at the recording for the live class, where we begin decorating the inside of our album. So thanks a bunch.